back, and this time we pulled through.
You pulled through?
We.
Oh, thank you for
No.
using we.
Yeah.
You're an individual, and I'm an individual.
Yeah, we pulled through this time. So cue the intro. Hello guys, it's Two Latin Brothers Podcast, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And as I said before, we pulled through. Somehow, we've managed to bring on a guest.
After, what did you call it? The journal arc?
After the journal arc, the dark year, for those who get the ref.
Crossing over, though.
Yeah, I know. So we ended up bringing a guest. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn. Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Yeah, okay, here, let me give some backstory for this, because this is important. So, when we started the podcast, about, I want to say, it's been 2 years now. So 2 years ago, we were like in the middle of like in the middle of the year when we started, because we start every year and we just kind of carry on like that. So we've been doing this this would be week 106 now in a row.
Oh, wow.
But we were like in the halfway through the first year, and we were camping. Oh, you guys were camping, and we showed up for the day. So I can't remember. I just remember we drove there, and you guys were like, you were with your family, and like your aunt and your uncles were there. And I remember I had a conversation with you and your husband, and which is kind of odd to say, but yeah, which is funny because I asked both of you if I could have you guys on the podcast at one point, and then that never came into fruition because of because we're very far from each other logistically, so it's a bit of there's like a good 5.5 hours depending on how you drive of distance between us. But other than that, it was like just the problem, and then the pandemic happened, and then we couldn't have anybody on because we are so used to having people in person.
Yeah.
And
okay.
The biggest issue we've had is that also like people who don't know anything about technology, they're like, I can't do this. This is too
literally me.
Honestly, you're not that bad. I have met people who are like, how do I print something? And they're like in a computer, like they're at the school, they're at the computer, and they're using the computer connected to the printer. I'm like, all you gotta do is click print.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's me.
Yeah, it's like all you gotta do is read and click. No, I'm not kidding. I met this guy once when I was studying in school, who he literally walked up to me. He's like, hey, can you help me print out like this paper? I'm like, okay, sure. And he's like, because I have no idea how to do it. I'm like, it's really easy.
Mm-hmm.
You just you connect this to Wi-Fi, then you hit print. And he goes, what? I'm like, yeah, it like auto syncs it, and then you get your student card, and you can walk up to literally any printer in the college and just tap your card on the printer, and it'll print it out. And he just looked at me like, what kind of magic is this?
Oh my God, that was actually me. The first year of college, I literally stand there for like half an hour waiting for someone in my class or someone I like recognized or thought was friendly to like help me out. Because like for mine, you had to like type in your student ID and your password, but I didn't know that. So I literally stood there for like 30 minutes waiting for someone to like show me how to do it because I suck at technology.
I'm that guy who problem is I'm not the kind of guy to go like I try to be that guy who goes and helps people, but like if I don't have to, I'm not gonna jump. So, but he's like that. He'll just like walk up to anybody and be like, yo, hey, what up? And I'm just like out here like shaking.
If I need the help now.
Where were you when I was in college?
I don't know.
Not in college yet.
Not in college yet.
Not in college, high school.
But yeah, so like I'm that guy who someone will see me print something and they'll be like, hey, how did you get it to print out in color? And I'm like, there's a color option in the settings. And then they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, also like there's only certain color printers, like not all of them are color printers. And then they were like, oh, I'm just gonna use that one every time. And they're like, yeah. And it's like just watching people like go through that moment of like realization that they're like, I'm an idiot.
I should have known that. It's literally a button and instruction
that says color. So right next to the print button.
Yeah, but sometimes you're like in your head and then you don't like see the instructions or anything, so you're kind of like,
you got this, and then you just go for it, and
it's
then
really
just like,
yeah.
It's really funny because like when I was, because I've done a Kappa program and then another program. So in my first program I took computer programming and then I took social service worker.
Mm-hmm.
Once people find out I took programming when I was in my social service worker program, everybody tried to use me like tech support. They're like, look, I can't get this to work. And then this one guy even brought me, he's like, look, this hard drive stopped working and like I can't get the data off it. Do you know how to? I'm like, dude, I'm not like some technical support guy who's here to serve you 24/7. I'm not that kind of person.
I would have been like, okay, so $15 by the hour.
Well, yeah, and then like
There
whenever
you go.
a teacher would have like tech problems in front of like the class, I'd be like, "Yo, go help her." And I'd be like, "I'm like, but she'll never learn. Like if
Oh
I do
my
it,
God,
she'll
no.
never learn." And they turn and look at me like, "But you can help her." I'm like, "That's not the point. The point is that it's her job to know how to do these things. I'm a paying customer."
Wow.
And they all turn and look at me, and they all have like this moment of like, "Wait a minute, he's right. We're paying for this, and they can't even do their job." It was like the funniest thing.
Didn't get your proper training.
Oh my
Well,
God,
yeah,
I feel like this year. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go. I don't know who's gonna say something.
I was gonna say, like, this year you really learned who's a good teacher and who's not a good teacher.
Yeah, because they had to learn adaptation.
Yeah.
Something a lot of teachers couldn't do, so they ended up staying in their school, trying to teach to the few students
Literally.
who did choose to go.
That was like, I think that was the mistake. Letting people choose.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly think because like I feel like, especially when it comes to teenagers and children, let's be honest. As a teenager, we're the most irresponsible person
Unsanitary.
per people. Like, I mean, I remember sharing one can of soda with like 15 people when I was in high school.
I mean, I
The
feel like
good days.
everybody's done that at one point.
No, but you get what I mean. Like, it's like how am I supposed to contain a deadly virus when I'm doing these kinds? You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
it's not.
But I mean, like, students are aware, and they're not, like, total idiots, you know? So, like, I doubt they're going to be sharing a drink with, well, I mean, like, some students. But, like,
I
those
mean-
are the exceptions.
I mean, but those are they're always acting like, trust you. You can have a kid. Like, there's always
like,
that
I,
few
I
people
trust that you're being healthy.
that you're being hygienic enough for me to share this with. I remember there was a tech class I had where I remember I bought like iced tea, and we weren't allowed to have it near the computer, so I left it like on this little table, and like every couple of minutes someone would get up and take a sip from it, and like by end of class, like almost all of it was gone, and I turn around I'm like, where did I? And I was like, sorry, we just
all decided
like-
collectively.
like
to start
collectively
taking
started.
sips.
I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It's just we get to a point where like
You're talking about kids and teenagers, and you went straight to college.
Well, no, I'm talking about. No, this is in high school. Yeah, in college, I didn't even let people touch me. I'm scared of them. They were all adults. I'm like, don't even look at me. Don't look at my. I don't know you.
You were totally antisocial.
Well, no, like also the thing is like I had a friend who he would like, yo, panicking. I need an adult, and then we'd all turn and look at him and be like, you are an adult. It's like, but I can't hold my own hand
Aww.
because he was just. Mad. I could have the funniest things. Like I need an adult. We're like, you are an adult.
Like we did.
Everybody else is just figuring it out. But yeah, that's you next year. Have fun. That's open for.
You're gonna have fun.
Well, actually, he literally means I'm going with him because I'm actually going back to school.
Yeah, I was listening to that in one of your I think it was the last podcast, right? I'm a fan, guys, by the way.
She's a fan. She's the one pushing them statistics. It's always so like it's bizarre looking at that stuff, and it always like baffles me. People from I still don't understand how Ireland's like that high on the list.
I know.
No, it's like this running joke where Ireland used to be like 5% of our entire audience.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Oh wow.
and we were like, how did this happen? Like out of nowhere, I don't know anybody from Ireland,
Neither do I.
and so we were like, it makes
Well, I know
Maybe you will soon.
like Ireland, but they're here and they lived here.
so it's just throwing us off. I'm like, there's total strangers, and then we got into the whole joke where I'm like, if we can get into an untapped market, so many people,
That's the goal.
that's the goal. Tap. That's all I gotta do. Like it's really because at one point Canada was like our entire audience because we told our friends and our family, and then all of a sudden America came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
America was like the second
And they came
person.
viciously.
Yeah, and now we have a bigger audience in America than in Canada. Then it's Ireland,
Oh wow.
Mexico, then the Philippines, then like all these other European countries, like just all the way down. Like I think all of them are on the list now. And then every now and then we'll get like some really odd ones, like what was it, like Israel?
Yeah, Israel's listening.
Someone from Israel is week to week. I don't know why.
Hey.
I don't understand. Like what is so entertaining about it?
like
It makes no sense. I don't understand, but here we are. Like I also feel like there are those few people who like they're on Spotify and they're listening to their podcast, right? And they have like
Mhm.
play on, and it'll just like they're in like the comedy genre, and then ours will just autoplay for whatever reason,
I'm
and
gonna
then
be like, let's give this a chance.
they'll like hear the intro, and they'll be like, "Yo, this intro fire though," and then like you won't hear it until the end. That was the whole.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like once you start listening to it, you guys start ranting on about like whatever it is, and then it just like kind of catches you, and you guys talk about like relatable things, right? So it's like you can relate.
Thinking about calling it day by day comedy because it's literally about our day to day lives, even if it was absolutely nothing, and expand on that.
Well, like I think I think the thing is like we have like two very different perspectives because like he's a teenager and I'm like an adult.
So he's looking through the adult eyes.
Like,
I'm looking at the
I see it through like the adult, and then Victor sees it through like the teenager side of things, and then I'm like, man, I used to think like this.
But also, like, you guys are very different in personality as well. Like, you know?
40 nerd.
Leave me alone, okay?
I didn't say anything.
But you agreed with it. I saw you nod. Unbelievable. I just got thrown under the bus by both of you.
They can't see I'm nodding.
Not until you stated
I
it.
said it for context so they understand why I'm upset, why I feel hurt inside. Anyway, moving on. Unbelievable.
I mean, like, I normally tend to tap. Well, recently I've been tapping in more to my nerd side because I can't do sports right now.
I like one of the things has been that like because you used to play soccer and play indoor soccer.
Yeah. And then I used to like participate, in, but like never.
It's because of COVID, right?
Yeah, COVID. Because he's doing school at home now, so it's like the other thing too is like we're running out of things to talk about because we used to have like one of the things was that we would have our like weekly conversation. So like we would literally have minimal conversations where we wouldn't try to tell each other what's going on in our lives until Friday, so we could talk about it. Problem has now occurred is that we're locked inside together and all we do is talk.
Like I've said so much good content outside of the podcast and I get mad at myself for doing that, but I'm like, it's not like I can avoid you now, so
it's
leave the house.
It's a problem. Like the other thing too, I'm like, is like I don't have like my amount of social interactions now are like phone calls or texts, but like I'm not gonna start like I was talking on phones. Like I'm not gonna do that because that's just that person's gonna know I'm talking exactly about them because I literally talked to them like a day before or like 2 days before. So it's very odd to like be in this like weird environment now, and everything's changed for us.
100%, yeah.
No, we had such big plans for this, and everything was
just fell apart on us. Yeah. But hey, here we
are. Now 2021 is your year, guys.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to jinx it.
No one's saying that out loud.
Why would you say that out loud?
Scared.
Oh my gosh.
I just jinxed the world.
Oh my God.
Like she just summoned COVID-20, guys. Get ready.
No, I can't live another year locked in, and no, I can't do it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually haven't minded it because like I'm like that person who if I don't have to go out, I won't go out. Like there are moments where like I need to go out to clear my head because I just need to feel the breeze and get some sunlight because apparently that's good for you according to my mother who actually knows. But anyway, I'll go out from time to time, but mainly I'm like indoors all the time. So I can go like literally days where I haven't left the house since last week. Actually, it was still the old year when I left the house. It was
still the old year when
the 27th.
He likes being locked in.
So I haven't been out in like 10 days essentially. I've been inside.
Wow. No, I'm the opposite. I'm like COVID has been kind of like a blessing for me because I've got like a lot of reflection in, know what I want to do with my life now and like my goals. But I can only handle 1 year. Like I need to go out. I need to travel. I was just starting to travel like 2019 now. And like I need to do that again. I need to go to Europe. I need to go to other places.
She's like, I need to get out of the country, but you don't.
Not part of a discussion anymore. I need to leave Canada.
I'm done with Canada. You know what's funny? It's like whenever I talk to, because I have a lot of friends who are international. So like whenever I talk to them, they're like, I want to go back to Canada. I'm like, I can't handle this here. Then I'm like, why? They're like, for starters, if I become a Canadian citizen, I instantly get access to so many better things. I'm like, I get benefit, I get this, I get that. And they're like, meanwhile, I'm out here just trying to buy bread. Like, I can't even buy bread. Like, this is a problem.
No, and I find the crazy thing is, like, especially with people who love to travel, they tend not to travel a lot in their own country. And Canada is a really big country. Like, there are people who've explored almost all of Europe, but they've never been to, like, the opposite end in Vancouver.
You're absolutely right. But, like, okay, so because of COVID, I got to go to Alberta, and, Canada is gorgeous. But, like, I'm over Ontario then, if I'm being more specific.
You know what's crazy? I have a friend who, when I was in college, she was from Nunavut.
Oh, wow. I want to live there.
She was telling us how expensive it is there for starters. But I mean, they get paid a lot more. But she was also saying how it is cheaper to fly to Cuba than it is to fly from where we are in Nunavut. And I was like, are you for real? She's like, yeah, because like nobody goes up there. It's like a mini like jet for like 12, and that's it. She's like, and the 12 people aren't even 12 people. It's like 5 of us. She's like, so it's literally just as expensive. She's like, it's like a private flight at this point. She's like, it's there were like 5 of us.
There's no classes. It's just
going up.
Go on a plane.
It's like going up there. She's like, and then it's crazy for winter break. She went to Cuba instead of going home, and I was like, okay, fine. I mean, whatever. To each their own. And then she came back and she had a tan, and like all our profs were like, how did you tan? Like in the north of Canada, like they don't even have sunlight right now. What are you doing? Like
you went down south.
It was like, what's the tanning cream you're using, girl? Because like I want to get in on this. It was just so funny, and we were like, she went to Cuba, miss. Like check her Insta.
Oh my gosh, I want to go to Nunavut. I want to live there. I'm actually looking at places to like.
Gosh, it's so cold. Why would you? Actually, it's not that bad apparently.
No, but like ever since I got Rocky. Rocky's my husky.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know.
For those.
So ever since I got Rocky, like I love the cold. Like I'm out there for like 2 hours, and it's like it's nothing to me now.
Because you have a friend who can handle it.
Yeah. Well, I was.
While you're out there freezing your
it.
fingers, you're like, I can handle it.
Humans have learned to endure worse. I can do this. This ain't Antarctica.
But it sounds so corny, but like when he's like rolling in the snow and like just enjoying the winter and everything, it like warms your heart.
You're like, I want to do that too. I'm gonna go roll.
I mean, there's something about having a lot of snow and just falling back on it.
Yeah.
It is the most comfortable thing you'll ever experience, but you have a time limit because you start melting the snow, so it sucks.
Then you end up wet. It's this whole thing.
If you're far away from home, you start freezing, quite literally.
So many things. No, actually, I had a friend who I remember I did that. And she's like, you're crazy. She's like, I've never done that. And she's born here. I'm like, you've never thrown yourself in the snow? And she goes, no. I'm like, you have no idea how comfortable it is. I'm like, it's like almost like landing on a cloud. I'm like, because it's just like,
it is. And it's so peaceful.
But it's really funny.
Cute.
Then I convinced her to do it. And then she was like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, how do I get up now? She wasn't wearing gloves.
Oh.
Oh my
And I was like, just like,
I'm
That
like,
was
give me
the
your hand.
yeah.
It's like, we didn't think this through enough clearly.
Oh my god.
But right now, we don't have any snow.
Yeah,
like
we
here
barely
anyway.
have
Do you guys have snow?
We got I think 2 snowfalls, and it's still here. Yeah, it's starting to melt, but we still have a little bit.
Some, but it's
We've
like,
had snowfalls and like pretty consistent ones, but it's not like large snowfall.
I know. I was telling my mom that like we switched because before, like when I would go to your area, it was like filled with snow. Like I don't know if you guys remember. Like, well, I'm sure you guys remember. Like 3 meters of snow. Like
Yeah.
it was huge.
was it like, I remember like 3 years ago now, we broke like some record in Canada, and we
Yeah.
were like shoveling so much. I remember I was shoveling so much snow because like, so the back of the house is like this like open like parking lot kind of area because we live in a townhouse, but like the open area, we were like trying to shovel, like make a path so cars could come in. So I'm like out there, and then one of our neighbors goes, she's like, I tried all morning, I made no progress. Like, just don't just give up. She's like yelling at me. I'm shoveling snow, and then I'm putting it on like this hill, and then the hill just like half of it just falls on me, and she just died of laughter. She's like, I told you to stop.
No, but he like you know like when the machines come and they clean up. My brother had like basically formed one of those.
And then like the wind blew and it just collapsed on me.
No.
Wasn't patting it down.
Anyway,
Oh my god.
but yeah. But I remember that day I called like a bunch of people I know to see if they were okay, because like there was just so much snow and it was crazy. And I had a teacher. I remember I went back to this school like a few days later, and one of our professors was like, "That's nothing, guys. It used to snow way more here." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, we used to get even more snow than this." She's like, we broke a record, but she's like, the first time in like 50 years. She's like, but I've been here a while. And we're like, wait, are you just dating yourself right now? How old are you? Like 50 years ago, like counting on our, like trying to figure out how old she is. Yeah. But like,
no, back
I mean,
then it was worse.
You'd have the what the record we broke was the amount of snowfall.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we broke. Yeah. But if they had snowfalls like that consistently,
yeah,
it was way taller than it was now.
Oh yeah, no, I had a teacher in elementary school who says she lived a little further north, and she says that they would get so much snow they could toboggan off the roof of their of the roof of the house. She's like, and their house had 2 floors. She's like, so we would toboggan off, like, because we would just stack all the snow like up the side of the house and then just climb up to the roof and then toboggan down from the roof of the house. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
crazy.
I think that happened to St. John's this year. I think they were like one of the only provinces that, well, not province, that was a city, but one of the few places in Canada that got so much snow that they got buried in snow.
Yeah, there's like those clips of like the truck passing by and you see like the car just buried in snow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of found cars.
I've told the story in the podcast, but I knew a guy who like literally had his car buried in snow, and he thought they stole his car. Like he thought they stole his car, and then like in April, like late April, there was like a mass email that went out to the college that they found someone's car under the snow because it started melting.
Oh no!
And the guy had like gone out and bought like a new car and everything.
Oh my gosh! And done insurance claims, probably.
Yeah, because his car got stolen. Like, there's a full police report, and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, the only thing he can think of is like where he parked it. No one else parked there, and it snowed a lot. So he thinks that while he was in class, like he's like the other thing too is like you have to keep in mind like if you show up and there's this giant mountain where your car's supposed to be, you instantly think maybe I parked a little bit more this way.
Yeah.
But then you're like, but then my car isn't there, so instantly you think someone stole my car.
No, 100%.
Like, but the spot where it was just so funny because like there's literally just this mountain of snow where like if someone told you there was a car in there, you'd never know. Like you would have never known there was a car there. That's how buried it was. Like the funniest thing.
How do you tell that to your insurance? Like I bought this new car with the money of the stolen car, but like it wasn't stolen. It was just in the parking lot.
So yeah, and then he was like, I have 2 cars and I don't know what to do. This one guy's like, sell it on the down low and then just don't tell your insurance you ever found it.
No.
And he's like, there's gonna be that police report out there looking for my car, and then this guy's gonna get caught because like, he stole my car.
Got damaged.
It's just so much stuff. It's just so funny, like hearing this guy trying to figure it out, like the logistics of it. Like he's like, I'm gonna have to take back my new car. It's like, and that piece of junk was buried. It's just like the funniest thing, like just watching people go. I mean, I think this is something that happens in Canada, so it must happen so often. Like I can't imagine what should happen. Yeah. Like realistically,
and it's not something big enough to be like found on the news.
Yeah, well. I had a friend from China who he would say that he's like, Canadians walk looking at the floor a lot. Like you guys like stare at the ground a lot. He's like, why is that? I'm like, it's because we're looking out for black ice. Yeah. I'm like, in the winter, I'm like, we spend 6 months here in the cold. I'm like, you step on black ice, it's game over. It's all over. Your life is over. And he goes, why? You can break an arm, a leg, you can break your neck.
Like people have tried suing the city.
Yeah, like you just, I'm like, it's over. And like, or was this one time we recorded with someone, we were downtown, and I was running, and Victor like jumped over the black ice, and I'm like, why did he jump? And then I stepped on it, and I literally slid across like the pavement, and my friend like just like ran over. It's like, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, I gotta go because the bus is gonna leave me. And then I got up and just ran after the bus.
That was so
funny. Oh my God.
Like, I was just like running. I jump, and I just turn back and look at him, and all I see is a bloom. You just see me sliding across the pavement.
The athlete and the nerd.
Okay, look. I'm gonna be honest. Stars, the mistake was this. I was wearing tennis shoes. I wasn't wearing pants. The other two was like I was carrying like all our gear on my back.
What, your bug?
What?
What, your bug? You were carrying your bug?
Oh, I was carrying my laptop and the mic, and I had like some other all the other jazz I carried. There's also, but yeah, it was like, but yeah, that's the snow, I guess, for those who don't know Canada.
Welcome to Canada.
I mean, but it's getting warmer, so that's not really helping.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, just like global warming isn't a thing. Look outside and tell me that's how it was 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Even last year?
Yeah, last year was, I don't know, I feel like when I was a kid, and it would snow, it was way better for like obvious reasons. I mean, like, cause now I look like some weird.
I mean, there's like that one snowball you gotta throw like here at least one.
It's just like, I remember like people just experiencing snow for the first time. I love seeing that experience of people seeing snow for like just playing with the snow for the first time. Is like, for me, I'm like, that's the thing that they've never lived. That's just, I'm like, and I got to live that with them because I was there.
I've never experienced that.
It's really interesting because the person is just like, okay, it's cold outside, and like because like I was like in elementary school first time I experienced this, the person avoided touching the snow all day, and then I found them and they're just like, I'm like, what are you doing? And just like I want to touch it, like I know I'm walking on it, but like I haven't touched it, and they touch it, and it was like soft snow, so they were like able to compact it in their hand, and they're just like, it's soft but it's cold.
Like, I don't understand. What is it?
Best thing, and I'm like, look, you can form it into this and throw it at other people.
Is it like I think it was 2-3 years ago, it snowed in Egypt for the first time because they had like like, the snow effect is called, actually it's probably more than that now, it's probably like 5 years ago. The snow effect is called El Nino, where like all the air currents like are like crazy, and it snowed in Egypt.
It's the one abnormal
and there were like clips of like kids who got to see snow for the first time, and there's like clips of kids from Egypt throwing snowballs at each other in the sand. But the sand was like melting it, but they were like throwing. I'm like, and they're apparently it hadn't happened since like the early 1900s. So like literally they were like the first, like their parents had never seen snow, and their parents had never seen snow.
They were the first in
They were the
generations.
first to like get to live that. I'm like, that's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that must have been so exciting for them.
You wake up one morning and just all this.
I mean, you start questioning.
It's like, what?
Why it's really cold, and also you're so used to it being hot, so you're probably wearing like you probably don't own.
Yeah.
But like by the end of the day, all the snow was gone because it's so hot. I mean, like it's a desert.
Yeah, it was probably just like
It was
not
just, like,
even in the minuses.
It was like a day. It was like half a day of snow. We had snow happen, and then the next day it was like it never happened. Yeah. No one would ever.
Because I mean, the floor is still hot. You probably brush over the sand, and it's probably like really hot.
There's like steam coming out of the floor.
It's like you're not like go get like firewood to like cook outside. You just like separate the sand, put down a pan.
I don't know. Like I pictured that they must have been like in that weird limbo of it all. Like just even the parents must have been like, snow.
Yeah, even
their grandparents were like that too. Like I gotta go touch the snow. Like, everybody must have been like outside, just like playing in the snow because they had no idea what was going on.
They get a snow day.
Nah. What is it? I had a professor who he told us that he would never miss school unless like the world was ending. And I remember we had this test, and they had like said that there was going to be this huge snowstorm and that schools are probably going to close. And he said, "Are you guys going to come?" And a bunch of people were like, "I'm like, I usually go on snow days because we don't do anything." But he said, "We're having a test regardless of what happened." And he was like in the middle of the school. She's looking at me like we're crazy. She's looking. And the test was going to happen. And he's in the middle of school. So he's like, if the world's ending, I wouldn't know because there are no windows in this room. So he's like, if the world is ending, I'll probably still be here. Like,
y'all have a test.
Y'all still have a test to do.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember
like, no.
The snowstorm happened, and I went to school, and like 6 of us showed up. And of course, you couldn't do the test because there's only 6 of us, and we're like 28 people.
It's unreasonable to do the test.
Yeah. And I remember, but he just laughed, and he's like, see, you guys are the ones who are going to make it through life. Nothing's going to stop you. And we're all looking at each other. Dude, my mom drove me. Like, what are you talking about? I did nothing. I didn't want to come. She drove me here because she told me I had to go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no. We had a teacher like that this year. What?
Yeah, I love going because normally, like, it's the day, like, of just, like, fun. People aren't doing anything. You're just having fun, just messing around. And you know the teacher isn't going to bother do anything because there isn't enough students to teach. You're going to have to reteach their lesson if they teach.
Unless, of course, they're the teacher who doesn't care and they just teach.
Well, I mean, there's, like, those few teachers.
No, they don't exist.
I've had teachers like if it's a snow day, they'll still teach their lesson as if nothing happened. They'll proceed as planned.
I mean, I had teachers that did teach, but it was like a side lesson. So, like, it was a lesson for the lesson we had the day before. A lesson for the lesson. So it was like history, but like the history would just be like, here's a movie.
Yeah, that's what my teachers would do. It was just movies, so I would never go.
No, there was this one snow day. The teachers ordered pizza to the school. And, like,
what?
The whole school just ended up having like a pizza party, and it was only like 60 students in the entire school. It was great.
Oh my gosh, 60 students is like my whole grade 12, grade 11, I think even grade 10.
Because you were in the countryside.
No, but that's why when he's like saying 60, like not a big number, I'm like, what the heck? That was like half my school.
So we're talking 60 people out of a school of like maybe 400 people.
Yeah.
Maybe like almost 500 people.
We're like, well, because like the school I attend, there was another school that closed down, and those students had to transfer over to my school. So we went from like being like a 300 student school to being like a 600 student school. So like it just
so like 60 people is literally like nobody. Nobody was at school.
Yeah.
No, I experienced that when because I moved to Toronto when I was going into grade 12.
Yeah.
And my school was like 1,100 people, like just my grade 12 graduating class was literally my whole entire school growing up in the country.
Wow. No, when I graduated high school, I think we were like, I don't know how many people we were. We were like probably almost over 100 probably. And what's crazy is like I remember when they called up the guy who had like the highest grades in the class. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew. We're all clapping. Like, I turned to the guy next to me like, who is that? He's like, I got no idea, bro. He's like, must be some smart kid. Yeah, but actually the guy who sat next to me at graduation, it's really funny because we graduated together from kindergarten and grade 6 and grade 8, and then we graduated together from high school. And then we had like this whole moment like while we were sitting there. He's like, you know, this is the last time we're gonna graduate together. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And he goes, it's gonna be weird next time I graduate. I'm like, I know, I won't have my graduation buddy to get me through this.
Don't trip.
But it was just so funny because it really hit me hard that I was like, oh my gosh, I may never even see you again.
Like, this is it. This is where we end all our ties.
It's really quick. I think he moved to Montreal for a bit and he studied there and then he came back and studied something else and then I don't know. I lost track of him after that.
Oh, wow.
That's life because we all lose each other.
I mean, I
For
already
real.
lost COVID-19.
COVID-19.
He just starts like, I lost all my friends. I got no connection with the outside world. I'm a loner now.
I'm a loner now.
I got no life, no prospects.
That happened to me 5 years ago.
I mean, like, I'm not even friends with the students in my classes online. Because, like, I don't see your face.
Yeah.
All I do is hear your voice once a blue moon because you're just using the chat all the
When
time.
the teacher calls on you.
Yeah.
You number, I can't read your name. It's too small.
No, it's literally just the teacher you can see and then a bunch of profiles.
That's literally my Zooms too, yeah.
That's all it is.
Wow, guys, that's...
And then
impressive.
nobody even likes to speak. It's just
Yeah.
like instant chat, always the chat. And there's always that one student who can't grammar at all. And it's like, and you're just like, oh, sorry, I meant to type this.
That's me.
What is it? I had like this, you know, like when you put a signature on your email,
Hmm.
you say like, you put your name and then you put like all stuff. At the bottom of it, I used to put in brackets, sorry for the bad grammar. So I sent an email that made no sense. You'd be like, he's apologizing for the bad grammar. That's
Yeah.
just like...
Oh my
And,
god,
like,
no.
Like, actually, today, I was like, because we were watching, like, because of my business class, we were, like, looking at promotional advertisements and stuff like that and, like, breaking them down.
Hmm.
And there was, like, a Tide Pod commercial we ended up watching about babies. And I literally spelled babies Babiys. And it's just like, he's like, you know, it's spelled with, like, IES. And I'm just like, lol, I know. And he's just like, yeah, he's like, but it's a common thing. Just making sure. And I'm like, okay.
He's like, I'm just making sure you know English because you're in grade 12.
I was just typing faster because, like, sometimes students get really competitive with typing. So it's like,
Oh,
you can type
wow.
the answer first.
Oh.
So it's just like, and I'm, like, terrible at typing. I've never actually sat down, like, I'm going to learn how to type.
You should learn how to do that before.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm decent. I'm average.
Now's the time to practice.
She's right. I mean, I'm too busy right now.
We're like
Coronavirus.
37, no, we're like 38 minutes into this, and we haven't even like told the backstory to who Jocelyn is.
Yeah. How do we know, Jocelyn? This is the real question.
All right,
Well, it's gonna have to start with you because you were first.
I was gonna say, why doesn't she give her side of the story, and then I'll give my side of the story. We'll see who remembers further back the first.
Oh my, you already won.
Wow,
You already won.
I literally just thought of this right now, and I'm scratching my head already.
Same. I don't know. I think we met. Well, we didn't meet. We just were,
Just
thrown into each.
I think the proper answer to this is we've just always been there.
Yeah, we
Like,
grew up
that's-
together.
Yeah, it's because our parents were like friends, so all our lives we're childhood friends. That's what we
Yeah,
are.
Like
That's
very childhood friends. Like
like infancy at this point.
yeah, because your sister, she like held my sister, and your mom was at the like hospital when my sister was born. So I'm only a year and a half, so older. And what's it called? So we've probably known each other ever since I was 1,
Yeah,
and you were 1 in like 2 months.
I'm a little bit older than you, so yeah. Wow, that's
He's an old man. I'm young.
it's like what? It's like 3 months.
4,
3.5
3.
months. 3.5 months. Not a lot. It's
I mean, 3
Still,
months.
you're older.
Yo, calm down. It's 3.5. That's like a friend of my sister. Her best friend. Her younger sister is a day older than me.
Oh wow.
It's really funny because I'm like, how did this? And so it's really funny. It's like all our lives, we just text each other like happy birthday, and then like I'll wait till midnight and text her happy birthday, and then she'll wait till midnight to text me happy birthday, and that's all our conversation.
Like if you scroll back,
You
it's
jump
just
in the
literally-
chat and it's just us saying happy birthday to each other every year.
Next time, wait till 11:49, and then you get the text message at 12 or 59. Sorry.
I literally prep the text and then just wait for midnight to come and then hit send. I'm that guy. I'm that guy who will like literally stay up late until like clock changes and like send. It's really
That's
funny.
literally me too. I like call my mom when it's her birthday at 12, and then like I'll call her until she picks up, and she's like, "Stop! I have to work the next day," or "Stop! I'm sleeping." And I'm like, "Happy birthday!"
What a horrible dog. Who she thinks she is.
Oh, I'm terrible because I'm screaming like "Happy birthday" like at the worst tone ever and everything, waking up everyone.
She puts you on speakers so you know your dad wakes up too. She's like, wake up, wake up.
If I'm going down with no sleep, you're coming.
No, you always hear my dad in the background going, "Happy birthday." He's like half asleep.
That's great. That's honestly the greatest.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were talking about, I honestly, we've just been childhood friends like forever because of our parents, and I mean, well, when you weren't so far away, we were pretty close.
We were, yeah. We were very close.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all real tight.
I don't know about that. You were still this little kid.
I was just a little kid. I was more friends with your little brother and your sister.
There was a big
I was more friends with your sister and then with your brother.
I mean, there's this big chunk of like 5 years where you weren't really around.
Yeah, I left, I think, 6 years ago now. This year is going to be 6 years.
No,
really putting time.
No, this year is 7 years. This year is 7 years, Jocelyn.
When did we graduate? 2015.
7 years ago.
2015. No, it's 2021. 6 years ago.
Yes, but it was 2015. No, it was 2014 when you had to have left because that's how grade 12 works. Because you start in 2014.
Oh yeah.
So it's you left in 2014.
So this summer will be 7 years. Oh my God, this year will be 7 years.
Yeah, because he's in grade 12 and he's 6. It's 6 years between us, right? So doing the math, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. She left at the beginning of the year.
No, you're right. I left at 16 and I'm 23. So yeah, 7 years. 7 years.
Oh, wow. 20.
Just
I still can't get over how it's just
we're old.
No. It's just more like every time like someone says my age or they ask me how old I am, I have this internal like cringe because then I'm like I think of like what year I was born and all I hear is 1997 and I just cringe inside because I'm like there are people who are literally 20 as of this moment who were born in the year 2000.
I know.
They don't know what it's like being born in another century. They have no idea. But you know what's funny is that like in the world we qualify as millennial, but in Canada we like in some countries we don't. We're part of his generation.
I know. I was looking at online like about a year ago and I was like, what are we? Because there's so much information of our year, but I don't know. I just say I'm 97.
Every country classifies us as different, something different. Like some of us are millennials, sometimes we're not, sometimes we are. Like it just depends on like what country you're born in, really. Like if you're born in like I don't know, if you're born in America, we're not millennials. If you're born in Canada, we are millennials. If you're born in like Europe somewhere, you're probably a millennial. And if you're born in like some other country, you're not. Like it's just the way that they chose to categorize all these stats.
I don't even know. I never cared.
Your generation.
There you go.
What is he?
Generation C.
So we ran out of all
the worst generation ever.
No, honestly, we suck. There are so many problems we have.
They're the most depressed, the most anxious, the most antisocial, the most glued to their phone generation. They're literally every problem that society had like physically voiced as a being.
Yeah, literally. We suck.
No, it's like I remember. I was reading the statistic where like the stress and the depression level in teenagers now is so high. Like
I mean but that's because your generation screwed up.
We didn't do anything. We were just there, you know. Like, but anyway, teenagers.
More
now,
like our grandparents' generation screwed us over.
Yeah. No. Okay. Look. Here's the problem.
But like at the same time, not really.
Look, I think
more like my parents' generation.
I think the problem, our parents' generation, actually, our grandparents' generation. Their problem is that they don't know how to stop working. Like they physically don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
Like their whole mindset is work.
And if they stop working, it's over.
But like they don't know how to stop. And like I look at these people, like some of them like 60, 70 years old now, and they're like, I gotta keep working. I can't stop. Like I will die with my boots on kind of mentality. And I'm like, you're gonna die at the job? What is like they don't retire?
Just like at 107, there's a bucket right there.
But is it
where there's us who's like wants to retire at like 40 and like go out on vacation and like have fun.
Actually, when I was in my program, people were like asking me because like I was a lot older than a lot of them, so they were like asking me like if I still lived at home or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I still live at home, and they're like, why? I'm like, because my parents are totally fine me living at home, and like honestly, like I'm taking as much advantage of it because it's either that or more debt on top of the fact that I'm already in debt just being next to you. So like, and then they're like. Parents are like that. I'm like, yeah. And I told them if I'm not married by 30, I'm gonna move into the basement and I'm not gonna go anywhere.
Oh
the house is mine. Y'all figure it out on your own. I look at my brother, my sister, like, this house is mine. Y'all get out.
Leave now.
Like this house, I claimed it. It's mine. Y'all go find your own house. No, but it's like.
And then there's me living in an actual house, the youngest, showing him how it's actually supposed to be done.
Married, like 4 kids.
We joke about that all the time, like who's gonna be the first to get married. Like, and my sister's like dead set that I'm gonna be the first one, but I turn and look at my brother. I'm like, imagine Victor's the first one and he beats both of us. That would be the biggest plot twist.
I mean, at age 21, I'll probably already have a stable job.
Okay, bro, don't look at me just because I'm 23. Stop calling me out like that.
Yeah, hey, watch it.
Throwing me under
There's
the
a lot of options.
Look, I'm trying to figure it out.
I mean, I'm going into health science, and we have a lot of jobs needed there right now.
Oh yeah, you can make a lot of money there.
Look, I'm no medical person, okay? I can't. I mean, I'm okay with blood. I don't want to, like.
It's not. You don't even have to just look at blood.
No, that's not what.
Discoloration in the skin.
It's just. I mean, I'm not just that kind of. No.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
I could hear you the whole time.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you literally froze.
You literally froze.
You were like staring off into the distance.
With my mouth open. Hello.
I'm like, what are you looking at? I'm like, what do we have? Like looking at the corner of the room. Like, what?
I was looking at the spider crawling down your shirt.
That's great.
If it bites me right here, bro, I'm gonna be Spider-Man. Go for it. No.
Bite me.
I'm
straight back to high school.
Honestly, when I was a little kid, I'd look for spiders and try to make them bite me. I'd literally pick them up and be like, go.
Oh my gosh, that's so creepy.
Anyway, moving on from that topic. Just gonna leave that in the dirt. Moving on.
I mean, I was a little kid and I'm like, Spider-Man's cool. You got bit by a spider, got powers. I want that.
You were obsessed with Spider-Man.
Oh,
I remember you had like capes, you had masks of Spider-Man.
Like toys.
The toys. Yeah.
It's just
I still.
You guys had the hand, right?
Yeah, it's like the hand. I mean, I still have a Spider-Man poster in that closet, like just a bunch of stickers of like every supervillain and like.
What was I gonna say? There was something I was gonna say, but all I'm thinking about is Spider-Man. Well done.
So, I don't know. We have so many like memories.
Actually, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, what's like the most memorable moment you think that we have shared together?
Oh
like,
gosh.
It's when he was around, or it was just me and you, or it was just you and him, or whatever it may be.
Don't worry, I'll say it for you guys. The moment I was born, best moment of your guys' lives.
You were so cute. Well, you still are.
Actually, that's why they had a little brother.
Oh,
literally,
that was the determining fact.
Yeah, when you guys got Victor, I was like, I prayed for a year, like for a full year for me. I needed him.
She was like, I need a brother. I can't be the only one without a brother. I need to join the group. Everybody else has one. I need one. I was in, what's interesting is like, because I'm the middle child, I have like both sides. I mean, your sister would understand this better, but I get to see like both sides of like having a brother and a sister. And like, what's really interesting is that they both have strong personalities and I don't. And your sister's in the exact same boat I'm in.
She shows like she doesn't have that big of a personality, but she's scary. She's really scary.
I've seen it. I went to school with her for quite a minute. Actually, it was the year you got married and then we went to school together.
Wait, oh man.
No, literally, we went to the wedding and then we came back and then we went to school like a few days later and we were like talking about the wedding. And then she's like, wait, you were there? I'm like, what do you mean was I there? She's like, oh, that's right, you were there.
I mean, she wasn't not gonna invite us.
That's how close we are, guys, is that I had 30 people in my wedding and
5 of them were us.
And your family were there.
Like, I tell my mom, like, because you know how my mom is and she always wants like this big thing. And I tell my mom, like, look, honestly, I'm like, at my wedding, there are more than 50 people there. It's not happening. And she turns like, goes, what? I'm like, it's going to be the smallest wedding. I need it to be small. I need it to be tight. I'm like, we're just going to move on. And she goes, why? I'm like, because I'm like, I get like, it's like this big thing, but like, realistically, I don't care more than 50 people.
Yeah, but what if your wife does?
See, this is where things come into play. Where am I going to find someone who doesn't want a big wedding?
I mean,
that's the dilemma I'm running into.
Normally, little girls, from the moment they turn 8, they're already planning how their wedding might look.
That's
so it's
nightmare.
literally you have to think about it. You have to think about it. For the extent of their life, they've been picturing or making themselves images, and you're just gonna show up and be like, "We're not doing that. Scratch all that.
Scrap it all. Get the matches.
You
get
have
the
to-
lighter fluid.
I mean, not
You're gonna
unless
burn it all. Torching it all right
not,
now.
not unless you marry somebody who wasn't that interested in getting married.
That's the key. That's who I have to marry. Someone who didn't want to get married.
Somebody who's
my
quiet in
God.
their own space
No.
is like big thing.
That's exactly it. But
You
no,
know what? Everybody changes their mind.
sure, okay.
When it comes down to that last minute, I want a big wedding.
I'm pretty stubborn like that. It's I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I've just always been like that. Even like about my birthdays and stuff like that. And my parents, which I've never been like, yeah. I've never been like, I've never
Party.
that's just not my personality. Like I'm not for it. Like, and I remember, especially when I was in college, you're like, yo, we're going to this party, we're going here. I'm that's like not my personality. It'd always be like, look at me like, that's not your. What does that even mean? But I'm like, I'm not a part. Like literally, the parties I've gone to in my childhood have literally been because my parents were invited and I was obligated to go. Otherwise, I would have been at home. Like I ain't about this. And they all,
Oh my God.
You're like, I just ordered pizza. Well,
Like,
you
guys go do you.
I got a
I'm
movie.
out here. And this one guy who I'll never forget, he turned and looked at me. He's like, bro, you're literally the only Latino I've ever met who doesn't like to. Like, I don't know anybody out. Like, he's like, is your family like super conservative or something? I'm like,
I mean, the parties
No,
we
and
do
then
go to, they're like pretty.
and then he, I mean,
If we go to a Latino party, then you know it's gonna be loud and it's gonna be very late.
I mean,
Arriba.
we're not that Mexican. Let's be honest.
Okay, well, we're not that Mexican, but like,
Most of the parties we go to are usually like from other we went to this one girl, she turned 16, went to her quinceañera, but she was from El Salvador, I believe.
yeah.
Or her mom was. So it was like, but there were so many people there, and it was done in like the basement of the church, like the Catholic church where she had like her whole service in her, because like it's this whole traditional thing. They did it in the basement, and like that was the first time I think I lived like a proper party. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And
I was just gonna say, are you thinking about my quinceañera? But mine was not in a basement, so.
And of a Catholic.
Yeah.
No, it was in a Catholic church.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't in the basement.
Yeah.
It wasn't in a basement, no.
When I went to go help you guys when your sisters happened, and man, was that a lot of work. I remember.
Oh man.
I remember me and your dad went to Costco, like super like last minute, and your dad was just like, go get some bread, and then he'd run over like to go grab something else. We were just like running around Costco, like just buying stuff left and right. And then we go back to your place, and then he's like, we forgot to get the cake. And we just had like this whole moment of like, because you guys like live out like in the middle of like
nowhere.
you guys are far. And like the bakery was like practically downtown. So we had to drive all the way back to go get the cake.
It was an hour drive.
Yeah. We literally spent like 3 hours that day just driving back and forth.
So glad I.
No, oh my gosh. Her quinceañera was not planned properly at all.
It was just like, it was one of those things where it's just like I remember when it finally like panned out and everything was like, well, I remember.
I think we should state what a quinceañera is for those who don't know.
It's a party when you're 15. Okay, man, like let's be honest, who doesn't know what that is? Like, has nobody seen Wizards of Waverly Place? Has nobody ever seen a Lion TV show before? I'm gonna just call you out. I'm like, no one watched Disney growing up. Come on.
It's a party for a 15.
Yeah, when you're
turning from a
they call it like the transition from a girl from becoming a girl to a woman.
Yeah,
a woman. You gotta
but
emphasize.
we all know that's not true
woman.
because literally 5 minutes afterwards, you see the child running around. She took off her heels. She's like, I can't walk in heels. It's so uncomfortable. Walking around
That
barefoot.
was for my sisters. I wore my heels the whole time.
Actually, I remember some of your sister's friends were like walking around, just like bare.
Oh my god!
And I was like, what even is this?
I'm like, they started popping like helium balloons.
No,
and then
I remember like your mom. Someone was trying to take like group photos of all of you, and they were all like, they took photos, and then they're like, oh, we should have put on our shoes. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just. It was just.
No,
there's
that
a lot of other
really
things I remember from that quinceañera, but that one I remember yours. I remember when you and your dad danced. You guys were like so stiff and like so nervous about it.
Oh, I can't dance. My hips lie. I'm the only Latina that hips lie.
It's because you were raised in Canada. No,
that could be it.
I like oftentimes like when you like in my case, people usually think I'm like somewhere from the Middle East because of my beard. That
Really?
So yeah, people often think I'm like from the Middle East. So when they find out that I'm not Middle Eastern, they always go, "Wait, what?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm." What made you think that? They're like, "Well, I don't. You look like." I'm like, "I look like what?" And they're like, You know what? I see it now. You are Latino."
I always get like I'm Filipino because I smile a lot, and they're just like, oh, your eyes get close together, and I'm just like, that's not racist.
Oh my gosh.
Just,
When
like,
I grew up in the town, they knew I was Spanish. But when I came to Toronto, they like all thought I was white.
Wow.
Which is so weird because I'm not white. Like I have color in my skin.
You need to go out in the sun more clearly.
See, the thing is, like, if we go out in the sun for extensive time, our bodies won't burn. They'll just catch like the color. Mm-hmm. So like we'll cook nice and like golden brown, but like we won't burn.
It's really funny. Like I remember this one year I was working at a camp and we were outside so much. And I remember when I went back to school, you're like, dude, what happened to you? Like, I don't even recognize. You're like 4 degrees darker than everybody else. Like that guy over there is actually African American, and you look darker than him. What happened? I go. It was just like it's one of the funny moments in my life. But he was like, I'm like, no. I was working at a camp and I was outside most of the time. They're like, I've never seen you this dark before. I'm like, yeah, I was in the sun. I was baking.
Actually, not good for the skin. I do not advise that.
Of course I know, but
well, I mean, like putting oil on your skin and going out isn't actually good for you.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
I used to literally lay down in my balcony, put tinfoil around my body, lay down on a black blanket, put like all sorts of oil, tanning oil, and then I would put like vegetable oil or something, baby oil, because I wanted to be super dark.
She was trying to cook herself. She was trying to be the first human to cook herself via sun.
Yeah, and I would fall asleep, so I'd be there for like 8 hours.
Yeah. No, there are serious skin conditions you can get from doing that. Unless
like
you're using
cancer.
Yeah,
but
everything
I
cancer.
recommend using natural creams, not using oils.
Yeah,
now I don't do that. Now I learned my lesson and I care for my skin, but
congrats.
Back in the days.
Back when I was a young teenager.
I mean, I'm a young teenager telling you.
I mean, you're not that young anymore.
But you're not a girl.
But you're less than a year away from being an adult. So I still know
about this stuff.
No, but girls are all about the glowing skin, you know?
I mean, if you want glowy skin, there's always a spray tan.
A great story about that. There was this girl in my program, and this guy like turns. He's like, "Have you seen her?" I'm like, "Seen what?" He's like, "There's a girl in our project. There's something about her. Like she's like glow. I can't put my finger on it.
She's glowing.
Like there's something about her that's like something's changed. Like clearly something's changed. Like he's like we have to get to the bottom. It's like what's going on." And then I remember like we were like talking like he's like, and then out of nowhere he goes, she like walked by because she was helping the prop hand out like some pages or something. He goes, "No, you look really good." And she's like, "Thanks." She's like, I'm a month pregnant. And we all turn to look at each other like, oh my gosh, it's the pregnant glow. All the guys talking this morning like realized that we're like, oh my gosh, it's the pregnant glow. We're just like,
oh my gosh.
But it was like the funniest thing because like it all hit us so hard. We're like, oh my gosh.
I can't wait to have the pregnant glow.
Just like walks out into the sun.
I've told this story before, but I had a friend like that. No joke. She was so pale that when she would walk out into the sunlight, it would hurt to look at her
because she'd
reflect.
That's my husband.
You couldn't look too long at her. Like you literally couldn't look too long at her. And I remember this one time we went for a walk together, and I was just like, I had to like look straight. I could never turn and look at her because I'd be like, I might go blind or something.
There was you with your sunglasses.
Yeah, I was like just to look at her.
You know, people advise you not to walk towards the light.
Man, she was right next to me. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Don't look directly.
But isn't she moved to like Manitoba or something like that after high school? Just pulls out.
She'll find a lot of herself there.
I don't know.
A lot of people like her there.
Actually, a lot of people think that apparently the way I sound, a lot of people who have been to Manitoba say I sound like I'm from there.
Oh.
I've had so many people tell me, "It's like, are you from Manitoba?" And I go, "Why?" They're like, "Your accent sometimes when you're talking, like, and you like get excited, they're like, you have like this accent that comes through, and it sounds like you're from there." And I'm like, "What?" And they
go, the thing is, to us, we don't have an accent.
I don't think I have one, but then apparently to them I do. And I'm like, "But
I don't know. You sound like you came from Manitoba."
Like I'm from Ontario. Like, I grew up here all my life. I don't know no other English. There's no English and stuff.
I love how Newfies talk. Butter.
I mean,
butter.
That's a very distinct accent.
But I love it.
She's like, I'm gonna go there and get it.
Just, like, all my best friends have been newbies.
It's like
I'm the type.
He's like, it's like all the like Spanish people who either go to Spain or Argentina.
Yeah.
They're like, I gotta get this accent.
And I personally, I'm not a huge Spanish accent. It sounds like a mouthful. It sounds like I'm full of everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the guy had like a lisp, so then it just stuck.
I mean, he got rid of his retainer, but he still had the lisp, so I don't know what happened.
I mean, that was way before the retainer, bro.
I'm not making fun of Spanish, but I just don't.
I mean, see, here's the thing: like, girls find accents attractive, but most guys don't care. Just don't care.
I mean, there's like those few exceptions.
Yes, you do. You have to care. Yeah.
No, honestly, like I've never found like I've just never like. Usually, it's like for me, it's the pitch of voice that matters.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you have like a high, squeaky, like annoying kind of thing, it's just like.
But if
you're
it's
like, okay, thank you, next.
It's also weird because like I've talked to girls who their voices are lower than mine, and it freaks me out.
And you're like,
I'm like, how does this like? Actually, there's this girl on TikTok who went viral who like when she talks and she's like Chinese, and when she talks in Chinese, she sounds so cute. But then she has like subtitles. Like then when I talk in English, I sound like a guy. Hey, and it's like whoa.
Well, it's because like I realized this when you're talking in a different language, the pitch of voice changes.
Yeah.
And it's hard if you try maintaining the same one because it doesn't feel like you're speaking the language properly.
I've never noticed it, but
I mean, like for example, when I was taking Japanese, I was trying like because what you try doing is learning how to imitate, right? And a lot of Japanese males when they speak, their voice gets lower and they're like it's like really strong and prominent. And then there's like those like few voices where it's just like kind of normal, but it's like really like low and prominent. So when I would start speaking Japanese, I sound like I'm some old dude.
There goes old man Victor over there.
Yeah.
Someone go get him his cane.
And then like with Portuguese too, a lot of women end up sounding like lower voices, or they have the complete opposite. There's no in between. They're either really high pitched.
But yeah, I don't know. I just that for me is what matters. But girls are like, no, he sounds Australian, or like if he's a British guy. Or if he's like, what is it? What's the other one? New Zealand.
I mean, I kind of like the Australian accent.
Yeah. How could you not?
I have a friend from New Zealand, but I still like. I don't know. That's not. I don't know.
You could be a 2, but if you have an accent, you're automatically an 8. Automatically, no discussion.
You're saying I gotta go to Australia. This is happening, bro. Get the flight. Book no flight because
I'll get you a bottle of water.
We don't know when the pandemic will be over, and I'll be able to leave freely and travel freely.
Gotta go.
Soon. 2021.
You know they're talking about August of 2021, right?
Yeah, everybody's hopeful for August, not now. This time is still.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about it all is the fact that they say that by August of 2021 we'll have half of Canada like with the vaccine. Only half. That's not even like.
See, but the scary part is that I feel like the vaccine's gonna turn quickly to the flu shot.
Yeah.
Very quickly. It's going to be like, okay, we have half the population vaccine, and now we're just going to forget about it. And a lot of people have already forgetting about it, and they don't even have a vaccine shot.
Yeah.
So I find that to be like a really serious problem.
Okay, but real talks, are you guys going to take the vaccine if you can?
I'm going to wait.
I'm actually for it. I'm like, I tell my brother, I'm like, yo, I'm ready. Like, roll up the sleeve, yo, I'm ready.
See, well, biology's ruined things for me. See, if I didn't take biology, I would have gone like, I'm straight for it.
He was like the first person in line.
But now I'm looking at like the molecular level and stuff. We haven't tested it in a long term.
Yeah.
You know, there could be side effects that we don't see until 2 years after. After like continuous use. And I don't want to be the guinea pigs of the world.
There's already a few. They're called England.
No, I know, but still,
those guys are out there being the true guinea pigs.
I mean, for example, vaping. We thought that was like the healthier alternative for smoking, and then not until like a year and a half after did we realize it was actually even more dangerous to consume those chemicals.
Yeah.
And people are still doing it anyway. Yeah. Not to get too controversial, but have you seen what happened down south?
The Americans.
The Americans. Oh, the capital.
Yeah.
What happened there? I don't know.
She's like, I don't follow politics.
I gave up.
I do follow politics. It's just I'm not. I don't agree with a lot of people.
Okay. I knew this was gonna get controversial, so I'm gonna ask, what's your thoughts and opinion as a Canadian that has nothing to do with America? What are your thoughts?
What are your stands?
Well, see, that's the issue is that Canadians do think that we don't have anything to do with Americans, but honestly, like we have everything to do with Americans.
Well, I mean, we have certain influences, but we don't directly affect any of their politics.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Well, okay, politics, yes, but I mean, like, I'm talking about like the general, you know, like if their economy goes down, our economy goes down.
Well,
if
yeah.
like something bad happens to them, like if they go into war, we gotta go to war because you know we're their supporters.
I mean, we're connected in the economy,
Yeah.
but then again, most of the world is connected in the economy.
I guess, yeah.
But when it comes to things like war, it depends who asks for help first.
So Canada, yeah, like honestly, like that's how it's always been. Canada's like that. We're like, but you know what the crazy thing is if England goes to war, basically is stating that Canada is in for it. Like Canada's just jumping.
Canada's all in.
Canada's like we're like sworn in already. We haven't even agreed to what's going on, but we're already sworn in. But I mean, when America goes to war, it's like well, let's have a let's sit down.
Let's talk about.
Get me a cup of coffee.
Think about it. And,
we'll discuss this in great
let's
length.
go to Tim's.
They gotta come. We're not going there. You're the ones asking for soldiers.
We can meet up in New York City because that's where they got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah, but for the economically.
Economy. The economy. When it comes to the economy, we are connected. I mean, the only thing we really care about right now are them tariffs. But other than that, like, I mean, we're okay. And you know what? Canada has been fighting back. They put tariffs on us, and we put tariffs on them. Like, we're just, you know, we're not about to be pushed, and we're not like that. We show up and we deliver.
I love how we asked her. She still hasn't stated her stand.
Yeah. So.
Okay, the way it was done, unacceptable. I think very childish, whatever. But I'm a Trump supporter, so.
Oh no. I see why she does. Oh no.
All right, so this is where the podcast ends, guys.
Also, this is the last time I'm ever associating with this person, so I guess it's goodbye.
No.
Okay, but may I ask your reasoning?
It has to do with a lot with my beliefs. I don't support a lot of what like the liberals or I guess in theirs like what Joe Biden stands for. I don't believe in a lot of the things there.
Okay, look, I get that, but like at a certain time, at a certain moment in one's life, you have to come to the realization that the man needs help. I mean,
no, 100%. But I feel like all of them need help. Like I feel all
would you
were not acceptable.
Would you say he's done good contributions to society, but at the same time also done things that can be seen like they've outweighed the good things he's done? Or would you say there's still arguments that can be presented?
I don't know. I feel like all of them are, excuse me, but trash. But, you know, like, I feel like Trump is just more, like, upfront with some of the things. And, like I said, there's some things I do agree with Trump more than the other ones.
I mean, even. They've been taking down his tweets because there's...
Twitter's just saying you're violating... Anyway... but yeah, you know, there are, and they've also now they've.
I feel like we should continue this discussion off because
anyway,
this can get real. Most of our audience is American.
No, but like I said, that was unacceptable. Like,
oh no, of course, no. I just
like 100% unacceptable.
Look, I just wanted to see like your perspective because, like, to be honest with you, you're usually from all our group friends, you're usually the one who takes the. I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to word this properly so it doesn't sound bad.
No, it's okay.
No, it's just... it's just you're usually the one to, like, take the side that just makes, like, every other rational person would be like, why? You know, like, in my case, like, I get it. I see, like, core beliefs and all that aside, I mean, there are some things that the guy who was given all the power literally all the power in the world should not be doing. Like,
I mean, like there have been mistakes, and I will say Trump has done good things, but at the same time, having him as a leader, I don't see it as being wise. Like he has good intentions, but there's just some things that you don't do. You know?
As a world figure, you know. Like also the other thing too is like it's very like all over the place. Like I remember when North Korea was a problem, everyone was worried because this guy he literally said a fright and fury fire the world has never seen before. And I quote, he said that to a guy who was literally threatening to bomb him with a nukes. Like, that's not the response. You just go no comment, and you just walk. So this guy was like, "Oh, we're gonna beat him, or I got the people on them. But we have the whole country mapped out." Like,
and the country's like, "What are you doing? Be quiet!"
everyone was just panicking. We're like, "No." And then he almost started World War III with Iran. Like,
that's a whole
at the beginning of 20, like there was a lot of things that, I mean, I get it. Sure, he did some good things.
I mean, like,
there are certain things that you question, like, as a person. Like, you can't go back from that. Like,
I wouldn't. There are things both Biden and Trump contribute to society that, like, we go for and we don't go for, but it's not like, if I was American, for example, it would not be enough to leeway me in any one of directions. So I wouldn't be saying I'm a Trump supporter or I'm a Biden supporter. But due to, like, the past mistakes of Trump and the consistency of these mistakes, I wouldn't be going after and saying I'm a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
I would probably vote Biden, but it doesn't mean I agree with certain aspects.
Yeah, it's a sticky situation. I don't know.
Would you say you agree with me or disagree with me?
No, I 100% agree with you. Maybe I shouldn't say I'm a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
He's like the last resort.
Yeah.
Like,
he's the last guy he's the last guy after your dog.
Yeah.
No, whoa, my dog is like above everyone. I already said, like,
I see where my status
to, like,
is.
a burglar coming into, like, the house, being like, your dog or your husband. I'd be like, my dog. I mean, my husband.
I was just like, dog.
Somebody clip that and send that to me.
Make it the ringtone. My dog instead of my husband.
No, my husband already knows that. Rocky's my
Jocelyn
life.
calls me, that's what you're gonna
I
hear.
mean, that's even if you get the chance, because I'm sure he'd just pick you up and just start going.
Just throw you over his shoulder and
he'd be like,
off.
Nope, we're not doing this right now.
We have to do this again with him on too.
Yeah.
Gonna get all the details.
Oh gosh.
Who would you save, the dog or your wife?
He's just gonna, like, I'm gonna
better save the dog.
Throw him on my shoulder. I'm just gonna book it. She can keep up. She used to be an athlete.
Used to.
Past life.
In big capital letters.
No, but yeah, I mean, it was funny because on Twitter it was trending, like, the opinion of Canadians from far away about what's happening in the U.S. Capitol was trending on Twitter last night. I was like, that's crazy. Twitter has a category for us.
We're important.
From watching from afar, like, and then it was like how we started, and then how we are. Like, it was like a picture of him at an inauguration, like, all peaceful. And then, like, him now is just like, there's tear gas all over the White House. Like, it's a disaster.
That was
that was, yeah.
I don't know. Like, and you know what? I have to say, I was impressed by Mike Pence.
Yeah, I was impressed.
I was like, wow. I'm like, for once, he did a job.
No, I know. For once, he did his job. It's just like, let's get work done. And I wanted to clap. I'm like, he's finally doing something.
I'm like, why wasn't he elected? But I mean,
2024.
There are now there's rumors that his daughter might run, so, like, it's a whole thing. But
I see, and there's like a time where people wanted Obama to run again.
Oh, I wanted
just like, what if you get Michelle to run? And then that was like this, like, thing going on for a while.
That would have been interesting.
That would have
actually, I went to one because she wrote a book, and I got to go to one of her conferences that she did here in where we are, and it was really, like, she talks about how she met him and, like, how the conversation went about him deciding to run for office and all of that stuff. Like, and they met when they were both still in school. Like,
yeah.
And it's like their story's just crazy, and she, like, talks about, like, having to be, like, the first lady, also being African American and also being the first one, and, like, how you have to present yourself as, like, excellence, but then you also have to be able to identify with all the people who aren't African American. On top of the fact, she's like, that you're being criticized left and right by literally everyone just for being here, and she's like, so it was very challenging, and it was very, very worrisome. She's like, and she talks about, like, all the little things that you never think about, or the things that you never thought to think about. She says she remembers this one time where they commented about her arms, like, because she was like, she works out and she's like fairly muscular arms. She's like, for a week I didn't show my arms after that, like, because it was all I could think about. And I'm like, you know, but we're like,
shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, like,
and it gets
like,
to you.
Like, no human should have to be that self-conscious, regardless of who you are. Like, and I remember when it was over, I walked out of there just so perplexed, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, the world is actually horrible. horrible.
Like the world's
I'm like, we the people are horrible. We're horrible.
No, we really are. Yeah.
And she talked about how like no one holds back like on the internet. She's like, on the internet, no one holds back.
See, the problem is now we've gotten to a state where we talk so much about being open, but we never talk about the restraint aspect. And finally now, like in 2020, with like stuff like with BLM and stuff, it's finally being stated, and it's something that should have been stated from the beginning. And that's the problem. We're now too open. Now we're trying to close it off without still creating separation.
Well, the thing you enter when you're like with technology is that there's no accountability, right? Like you can put any username and no one will ever figure out it's you. Like I have a One Direction 1D fan club, but no one would ever know it's me.
What happened to those guys?
They just went their own ways, and now
they all went their ways.
They all went in different direction. It wasn't one. They had to go their own way.
Oh,
I mean, it happens to every boy band.
They're like, this direction, and then I went that way, and he went this way, and then we all went our own different direction. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no accountability, right? So
yeah.
People can say whatever they want.
Yeah, and it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for the person on the receiving end.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was just like my experience. And then like I remember like flipping through the book because they had like a staff outside like the door because like she literally walked in and then I never saw her leave. She just vanished. I was like, imagine she walked behind and then like literally
no one saw the cars leave.
Literally 2 days later, she posted on like Instagram that she was like in another country already. I was like, this magician. No one ever saw her. Like she just vanished. Like, that's amazing.
Imagine they just secretly hired like illusionists to like set up a whole rig. It's like okay, you walk behind the curtain. That's it.
Yeah, it was a big stadium, but it was so packed in there. I was so surprised how packed it was in there. It's like, yo, man, why is this? And then, like,
you were
like,
surprised, Michelle Obama?
Oh no, it's just like I mean we're Canadian. Like, let's be real. But I mean,
even one of my friends attended there.
Yeah,
they went.
One of Victor's friends was there, and I was like, I saw her on the bus. I didn't say hi because I was working. So yeah.
I was working. I can't just kind of go and talk to one of my brother's teenager friends.
Just like, well, no, because I was like with a bunch of other teenagers as well because I was running like this, because I was working with like this immigration office at the time.
Okay.
Taking these girls on like this trip and all that stuff. And she was like a couple of like seats away from me, but I was like with them on the bus because we all bussed back together. And then I remember I saw her and I just kind of waved, but I didn't say anything because I'm like, I'm technically working. I can't just like
drop my responsibilities.
Like they've never been on a bus before kind of people.
What if one of them got off?
Yeah, exactly. Then it's on me.
Yeah, it's on him.
And we're like literally on the complete opposite end of the city. Like I can't do this. The stress is too much. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like stuff like this that just I don't know. I just going back to the Capitol. I when I saw it on like the news and like the way everyone was talking about it, it really like struck hard. I'm like, wow, this is what we're gonna remember him for. This is that moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, not even the wall comes close to this moment.
Remember that guy who changed
the wall.
That's what we're gonna remember him for. The man who changed American history.
Guy who didn't know how to let go of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be known as a whiny kid who didn't want to leave his chair.
I know, so bad.
Anyway, moving on. That's really dark.
I know.
We gotta end this on a high note, guys. Someone say something happy.
Sunshine, rainbows,
spring. Jocelyn, what's the most memorable memory you have with us?
Oh, going back to the original question. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. You guys answer this. I have like a whole bunch of like mini memories. Like I used to come like over almost every weekend for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. I remember this one time we got all 10 of us on our table, and our table's like not that big, and all 10 of us were like sitting around the table, like we ate like a meal together or something. I don't know what we were doing, but we were like all there together, and we were like joking around, and you guys were here till like I think it was like 12:30 on like a Sunday.
Wow.
And the only
we did that multiple times.
Oh, I know, but like, but I remember the reason I remember that was because it's the only time we all ever sat around that table. It was the last time we ever did because we were all like so cramped.
I mean, like
the
there were times where you guys basically stayed until 1, and then we're like, okay, you guys can stay, and like you guys leave in the morning because it was just like it was already the next day, and you guys were just like, no, it's fine, we'll just get them.
We'll drive the hour, it's fine.
I'm like, well, it'll be 2 a.m. by the time you get home.
Yeah, and then your dad always calling our house just to make sure that we got there safely.
Yeah, because you guys would literally leave, and we would be like, okay,
Pitch
so
black.
no, you guys would leave, and we'd be like, all right, so now we just gotta wait out the hour.
Yeah. We're like, we can't rest.
No, yeah,
until we confirm that they're okay.
You guys would leave, and we literally all just be like sitting in the living room talking, and then my dad's like, it's been the hour, and he'd call.
Yeah.
So literally like, they just stay out that whole hour, and
we're just like we're hoping your dad didn't start falling asleep on the way.
Meanwhile, Jocelyn's in the back, just like knocked out because she's so tired. We're out here like not even being able to like, oh my gosh, what if they hit a deer?
I mean, also we'd eat a lot. We'd buy a lot of food, and then we'd just like eat. So then, like, we'd have, like, whatever we need to do. And then we'd even sometimes have dessert after. So we'd be, like, in that, like, state of, like, I'm awake, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm, like, falling asleep.
But, like, also a food coma is super imminent.
Yeah. That's
Oh
also
my
another reason
God.
we'd be concerned. We're just, like, they're driving, and they're, like, trying to stay awake.
No, I would never fall asleep. I can't fall asleep in the car, so I would never fall asleep. I would be singing.
So I used to be able to do that as a kid, but I became an adult, and all of a sudden I lost the ability.
No, I can't. If I don't trust you, well, I don't trust anybody, except the only person I can sleep in the car with is my husband. That's the
dangerous.
only person.
That's
But,
actually so dangerous because he needs you to stay awake.
Yeah.
no, but he's like, he doesn't sleep. He's like, what is sleep? Literally. He's a zombie. Yeah.
It sounds like me when I was a teenager. Doesn't. I used to be like, sleep is for the weak. Y'all don't need that.
I mean, like, every person has that moment where they're just like, I don't need sleep, I'll be fine. And then you reach just a certain point where you're just like, you know what? I think a nap would sound real good right now.
He took like a 2-hour nap before this.
Yeah. I had just come out of a biology test, metabolic processes.
I was out
Is that
here.
why you had the chinky eye?
No.
I'm the one out here, like, I was sitting in the dark, literally. He's over there, like, passed out, and I'm, like, on here on my laptop, like, trying to type something out.
I mean,
I'm
think
like,
about it. I'm spending 5 hours every day staring at a screen.
No, that's so boring. I can't. No.
Yeah, so there are points where my brother's just like, you look so focused, and then you look like you're in a totally different place.
He'll just be like staring, and then all of a sudden he'll be like,
I'm staring.
and then he'll just like I can physically watch him zone out of the class.
Well,
I give you props though, because like I literally will stand there and then for like a good 10 minutes, because my teachers do attendance, so they call everybody's name. So all I say is here or present, and then I literally go on mute, no video, and then I turn on my PlayStation and play Call of Duty. And I hope I retain something.
Wow.
No, see, what I do is like, since I'm on my laptop, it's so easy to get distracted.
Yeah.
Social media is right around the corner. YouTube's right there, and we're using YouTube for the class. My suggestions are showing up, and it became a problem to the point where I just stopped using a browser and just designated a certain browser for my learning. See, because like I use 2 different browsers now, so it's like I have personal browser and then I have my like, school browser, and a lot like with both the classes I have, there are things I already understand and I already have a full concept of, and I'm just like, I don't need to hear this. Look at the ceiling, look at the floor, do whatever. And especially in my business class, even though like apparently I'm not answering my questions. I don't know how that's apparently I'm not answering my questions properly, but there are things that I already understand and already have like a main idea for, and I'm just like, I don't ceiling, floor,
Ceiling.
And then for like biology, I'll be like, okay, I need to write this down. Like, this is something I'm gonna need for later on and what I'm gonna do in my future. And
Yeah.
Like, you did this last year, and I'll be like, okay.
I'll be like, okay.
Oh
I'll
my
just
God.
sit around.
I can't imagine being in grade 12 and like doing Zoom calls.
Well, we're not even doing Zoom calls. We're doing Google Classroom. Like, not even Google Classroom. Google Meet. We're using that platform instead.
No, I don't know that platform, but I assume it's the same thing, right?
It's basically Zoom.
It's basically Zoom. But since Google did it, they tried to make it a little more refined.
Ugh, Google.
Google likes to do everything better than everybody else.
Yeah, so like they have
That's
they
kind of
have
what
the
they
same
do.
whole stuff. They have like a Q&A question. The thing I like that they did with Google Classroom is breakout rooms. Where like you know how like sometimes you have to do like group work and stuff?
Yeah.
You can actually break out into groups and the teacher can just circulate.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, no,
So, like,
we can't do that.
yeah, we do it, but it's like not like every time. When a teacher does say we'll do it, that's when they do attend. So like if the student doesn't join their room, it's like, oh, somebody isn't actually in class. I mean, like, of course we do attendance and stuff like that, and sometimes the teacher, because like it's just a bunch of profiles. The teacher will randomly call out on a student. He's like, if you don't answer within like the minute, he'll be like, at least say you don't know. And then the person.
My teacher says, don't run
answer.
all at once. Yeah, don't answer all at once.
I remember when I was in programming, even like in the class, all you would hear is like people viciously typing. Like, so yeah, all you hear is people viciously typing in the class, and the teacher would ask a question and no one would answer, and he would be like, and it was always like a yes or no question, and he would be like, someone say yes. And then was one guy at the back would just put his thumb up. Like, yep, we're good.
Oh my gosh.
That was the extent of like, I remember, I'm like, that's when I really entered my antisocial phase. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't need to talk to people. This is amazing.
It's just yes or no question. Just thumbs down, thumbs up.
We would literally sit in class, and we were like in a giant Zoom group. In a Skype group. But like half the class was in a Skype group. We were just like all talking to each other from Skype.
I find we're losing with like learning online and stuff. We're losing the touch of like student teacher. You know, like because like your teacher doesn't really see you, and like when your teacher sees you and sees you struggling, like actually struggling in their class, they can sympathize, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now all they see is a profile, so it's more like they're more like more teacher.
They're like a teacher.
They're like more of a teacher than almost crossing that line of like friendship and not like friends with your teacher.
No, I need that.
Yeah,
I need to be able to befriend my teacher. If I can't do that, then I'm sorry.
I mean, like my business teacher, he's like a really chill, down to earth guy, but like he's like you guys have to remember, he's like, I'm still your teacher. It's like, so if I tell you to do something, do it.
I remember when I was in high school, I was like friends with like all my teachers. I would literally like walk into their class during lunch and just hang out.
I mean, I was the same, but there was times like because I took photography, and that was like by far the easiest class I've ever taken in my life. It was literally take 3 pictures, hand them in, and like instant like 4+ or like 100%. And I'd be like, and I'm like, that's great. And the thing is, you can just ask for a camera and then just leave. So like, I'd just take my 4 pictures in the classroom and just leave.
This is a picture of a chair.
No, it's because like you have to take like certain angles, and like there's like close-up pictures called like macros. So like there was like we were told to go outside. So I'd be like literally first like open the door to the outside, a little pebble, take a picture of that in like 4 different angles. I was good.
Done.
Exactly. And then I just spent time doing whatever.
Like, so here we have a picture of this giant boulder.
Yeah. See, like all you have to do was take a picture. If it needed like a little touch up, you do that, but that doesn't take too long. And then just write a summary of why you took the picture.
It looked nice.
It looked nice. The angle of which I took it in was so and so and so, and I used like these settings on the camera. Hand in. I'm done.
Oh my god.
So I would spend that period in other classes, and teachers got used to it. They'd be like, okay, why are you here? And I'm just like, oh, I'm done with my class already. And they're just like, so your teacher let you go? No, I'm still in class. I can take a few pictures here, and just like randomly take a picture off to the side and be like, I'm still doing work.
Walk into the math class, take a picture of the board.
No, and one of my friends, of which we've had on the podcast, his name's Rapala. He spent that entire class just sleeping. Just
not a man.
The entire class just sleeping. And then I had like a few friends who just like would huddle up in a corner and just start watching anime. And like the teacher thought we were working, and like we did our work already, and we just hold on to our work until like the end of class. And like there was times where like, okay, I'm gonna do work today in this class, and like I'd be like, okay, I'm done, and she'd be like, okay, here's this paper. Once you're done that, I guess you have free time. And I'm like, so even if I didn't do this, I'd still have free time for the rest of my class.
Wow.
So I'm like, no, it got to a problem to the point where now in that class, the teacher isn't allowed to let the students go out by themselves. They go in groups because it was such a problem. And I think I know the teacher who ratted us out, but like because I'd spent time in his classroom. But I'd mainly spend time. I'd mainly spend time in the music class, in like the grade 9 class. So like since I'm like me and my brother like really oriented with like music and stuff, it basically ended up peer tutoring that class. And that's an actual course a student can do. It's like, why don't you just switch courses and actually do this? And I'm like, because then that actually makes me do like real work. Because like I have to write like summaries of like how I help the students, how I help teach here. And like my final like exam would be teaching the class. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, that seems like a lot of work. This one kid can't even play his instrument. I'm not about that.
He's been here for 3 months now, and he still doesn't even figure out how to play a G. Come on. It's been 3 months. It's literally right in front of you. It's on a page. Come on.
Or I just asked my teacher for like one of the like little practice rooms, and I just spend like half my time in there with like my best friend, just like the entire time.
Basically another spare.
Basically, well, technically. I have to talk about this with my father. Because we haven't made the decision yet. Because of like I have too many credits.
Okay, so when because we're music kids, we do band. So every year in high school, we get an extra credit over every other credit that students normally get. So if you do communications in the first year, in the first semester of high school, you're basically done that semester. You graduate from high school as of that semester because you have 4 extra credits.
Yeah, so I can finish. School doesn't end until June, but I can technically end school in May.
Wow.
And I was like telling my dad I should just like, finish in May and just get a job and then just like save up, because the following year I'm going to college.
Yeah.
And like it's something he wants to discuss because he's not sure if he wants me to do that yet. Because technically as of May I'm a graduated student. Yeah. I'm just doing this as extracurriculars. So I'm just like I don't know what I'm doing.
And the other thing too is like he's already got all the courses he needs to get into his program. So like it's just I'm like you're so lucky you're in this position right now.
Yeah, well technically
so many students would kill.
Not until next semester, I'll have everything I need, because I need grade 12 English, and that's like a compulsory course.
Yeah.
So once I have that English, I can officially say I already basically got into. I'm done. I've graduated.
What is it? I don't remember where, but they often, I can't remember what high school. It got to a point where they had to start putting grade 12 communications as like in the last semester of school, because that's what the music kids and like, I can't remember what other program you can do that with, where they would just graduate then and then just leave school. And it became like a problem because the school was losing numbers, right? And they get funding for how many students finish the year, right?
Yeah.
And because it was throwing off their numbers, they would always put grade 12 communications in the second semester instead of the first semester, because it became a problem where it was affecting the school like economically,
financially.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they weren't getting enough numbers.
Yeah.
Because like all of a sudden like 30 kids would graduate, and then next semester like basically half the grade 12s are gone.
In actual school, they put a limitation of how many spares you could take, because like all the band kids would be like, can I just take like a spare, like throughout like all of this? And they'd be like, no, we're gonna only give you a limit of 2 spares per semester. So
wow.
Because like they right, if you don't have enough students for a certain course, the course no longer runs, right? And there was like a few courses that were like in danger. So
that's
just,
what happened to me.
Yeah. So they were like, take this course, like keep it alive, and you only get 2 spares. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I was in band and I never got extra credit.
Yeah, it's one of those few schools.
No, it's because the school we went to, like, they're known for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I mean,
I was gonna join choir, and choir also gives you a credit.
What the heck?
So if I would have joined choir, I would have had 8 extra credits, and I would have rearranged my schedule, and I technically could have already ended.
Wow.
Yeah. See, and the thing
possibilities in a city.
Yeah. And the thing is, Ontario is doing quadmesters, so you only have 2 classes per thing, and I have like 4 extra credits, so that's like 2 masters in one go.
Yeah. All right. We should wrap up because it's almost been 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm gonna have to cut out. Something's gonna have to go.
Yeah.
The Trump situation.
No, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna cut out.
That's gonna stay.
I'm gonna cut out how we've been childhood friends. I'm gonna title it "We've been childhood friends." Done. Covered it.
All right, guys.
Or I'll just leave all of it in there. I'll just leave it all. I won't even edit it. I'll just export it from here and just hit upload.
All right.
No edit, no refinement, no nothing.
Let's actually wrap up. All right, guys. It's been 2 Latin Brothers podcast. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Everything's always in the description, whether it be up, down, left, or right. We're gonna get Jocelyn, maybe his Instagram. Maybe we'll throw it in the description in there. It's people can find out. Or she can give us like her dog's Instagram, and we
give him clout.
Give him clout instead of her. we can do either one of those things. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share with everybody. Share with your donkey. Share with your rooster. It doesn't matter who you share with. Just get it out there. If you guys would like to leave us questions, you guys can slide into them DMs on Instagram. As I said, everything's always in the description. If you guys are listening to us on Anchor, you guys can leave your voice, and maybe we can have your voice on the podcast. Give that a try. And as always,
I have not checked that.
Yeah, we have not checked that. We will, most likely. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.